Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all based on your locations. My name is Rahmathullah Khan Muhammad, CEO of Gateway to Voice. Welcome to another video on CCNA Voice. I'm really sorry that I could not able to do any sort of recordings from past 1 month as I was busy with my work. And today I will be teaching you how to configure ePhones, Ephone DNs, and something about mystical buttons. So before I start my video, let me remind you this configuration which you are seeing on my screen is a continuation of my previous video, which is configuration of designing of CCNA voice lab. And this, as you can see, is that I'm using a VMware Workstation 8.0 and GNS3. On GNS3 I've defined the network and I've configured that network in my previous video. And since I'm using VMware 8.0, as I've already told you that 8.0 workstation have a feature called Unity, wherein you can have running application on your desktop rather than on a VMware machine. So as you can see is that I'm having 3 Windows XP workstations on which I've installed IP communicator, Cisco IP communicators, and it's pure vanilla configuration. That means I've not configured the ePhones, not configured the ephone DNs, nothing. As you can see, there is a blank screen. Those who are new to this video and those who have not seen my previous video of designing of CCNA voice lab, let me show you how this network is established. As you can see that this is what the network infrastructure is. I'm using 1 CME router, 1 DHCP router, 2 switches, and 3 iPhones, IP phones. Switches are connected via trunk connection, which provides me sharing of VLANs. CME router, which is again on a trunk line, which is connected to switch 1. DHCP same, but having the access mode rather than a trunk mode. Okay, the reason for using the DHCP router is to provide my IP phones, which are my workstations, Windows XP workstations, to give them a dynamic IP address, and the IP addresses which my workstations will be taking will be in the range of 12.12.50.1, and the IP addresses of my IP phones will be in the range of 12.12.10.1. okay, starting from 10.1. okay, so this is what the structure is, which is basic CCNA voice lab structure. So let's move on to our today's agenda. As I told you that we will be configuring our whole telephonic services on this, then defining the ePhones, Ephone DNs, and most important, use of mystical buttons. What are these mystical buttons? Okay, so let me start with the initial configuration. Okay, so I'm using I'm on GNS3 CME router. Let me enable, which take me to the enable mode, goes to configuration mode, wherein I will type telephony services, which makes telephony services enable, and we can able to do all sort of configurations like creating ephone DNs, defining ephones, and defining all mystical buttons. As you have seen in my previous video, I have discussed the 3 important commands in order to make a CME router to run telephonic services. So as I was saying, that in order to make the telephonic services run up and running, we need to type telephonic services on CME router. Okay, then we need to type 3 most important commands, okay, which is max.dn, which is maximum number of directory numbers. Okay, for my example I am using 20. Okay, and max ephones, how many ephones that you can have. As if you are running VoIP services or telephony services on CME router, the maximum number of ePhones which CME router supports is 250. Okay, if you want to use more than 250 IP phones for large organizations, then you need to shift it from CME on a router based CME like Communication Manager Express to Cisco Unified Communication Manager, which I will be telling you how to configure that one in my future videos. Okay, right now we are only focusing on basic configuration of CCNA voice. So here I'm using maximum of 10 IP phones, but you must be wondering that on the screen you are only seeing 3. Yes, you are seeing 3. I can keep more IP phones as I want in my VMware machine. So that's one more command wherein I type maximum number of ePhones. Okay, the next most important command is IP source address. This address should be the address of voice router, like voice IP address of voice VLAN, which is 12.12.10.1. Let me check if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's 12.12.10.1, which is the voice VLAN and IP address. As soon as we type this one, you will see that all the 3 IP phones which you are seeing up here get some sort of configuration from the CME router. Okay, these are the 3 important commands which makes the telephony services enable and up and running on CME. Okay, so yes, I can see is that there is nothing is happening on that. Default TEF TVFTP has been configuring. It takes a time, but in order to speed up the process, you can reset or restart the IP phones. So yes, there you see that all 3 IP phones get the configuration from the CME router, and you can see on the screen we have basic configuration for IP phones. Okay, so now that we have created the IP phone configuration of basic configuration for CME routers for IP phones, now it's time to move forward, like defining the Ephone DNs, then assigning those Ephone DNs to the IP phones. Okay, so let me show you one more command where you can see what ePhones, how many ePhones are registered. I'm just scrolling down in order to make a space to show ePhones. So there you see that I'm just scrolling down this one. Okay, there you see I have got 3 ePhones: ePhone 1, ePhone 2 and ePhone 3. Okay, so these three ePhones are registered with CME router, which means that only they have got the basic configuration to run, but no phone numbers have been assigned and nothing is being defined. So in order to define the ePhones, we go to the config T, type ephone DN. Okay, ephone DN1. Okay, if you press space and question mark, there you see two options. One by default is single line and other is a dual line. Single line, you won't be having any call waiting beep. It will be plain single line. If some other phone call you on that number will be showing the busy line. Okay, the second option is dual line configuration, wherein you can have two channels for one line. Like if suppose an example, if I define ePhone DN1 with dual configuration, okay, and you see that two lines comes up automatically, like they are up and running. Okay, now I need to I'm defining the phone number, which is 2001. Okay, that's the phone number for ePhone DN1. Exit. Same, I will define one more ePhone 2 and number is 2002. Exit. Here I will define ePhone DN3, but with single line. Okay, and number is 2003. Okay, now that we have defined the ePhone DNs, which is the directory numbers for these three phones, now the next step is to give assignment to these phones, those numbers. Okay, so basically there are different ways to do assignment of ePhone DNs to ePhones. The one which is most preferable is by defining their MAC addresses and then assigning those numbers to those MAC addresses. If you are having hard like IP phones of 7960 series or 7940 series or 7961 series, you need to get the MAC addresses for these phones. So in order to define the ePhones DNs to ePhones, we need to find the MAC addresses of these IP phones. So if you're using a hard phones, as I said, you like 7960, 7940 or 7961 series, you find the MAC address either on the box of that IP phone or at the back of the IP phone, and or if you go into the settings, network information, there you find the MAC address. Since and I'm using the IP phones, soft IP phones, so the best place is to find and either by clicking on menu, preferences, network, and thus the MAC address. So as these are basic IP phones, like soft IP phones, so it starts with FEP and then the MAC address of this IP phone. Okay, so and another place is if you type to show ePhones. Okay, so there you find the MAC addresses. There's ePhone 1 MAC address is this one, ePhone 2 is this one, and ePhone 3 is this one. So now let's assign and the ePhone DNs to the IP phone, soft IP communicators. Okay, So we are in config mode. Okay, type ephone 1, which is the upper IP phone. Okay, then MAC address. Okay, so I'm just copying this one, just highlight, click, right click. Okay, so that's the MAC address. Then type button. Okay, line 1 with DN1. So these are the lines, these ones: line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, line 6, line 7, line 8. If you are using soft IP phones like Cisco IP communicators, you have 8 different lines. Okay, but if you are using physical IP phones, which are 7960 or 7940, you might have 4 lines or 6 lines based on the models which you are choosing. I think if you're using 7940, you will be having 4 lines, and if you're using 7961, you will be having 6 lines. So what we are saying is button, which is this button, line 1, which is this line, okay, is we are associating that with DN1, which is 2001. Okay, type enter. Okay, you won't see anything unless you do a restart or reset button. So as you must be knowing what's the difference between reset and restart, so I don't want to go in depth of that. Okay, so what I'm doing is restarting the IP phone. Okay, so this one is my ephone 1, which have 2001 number. Okay, then I will go to ephone 2. Okay, so again I need to type show ephone. Okay, so that I get the MAC addresses. Ephone 2 MAC address is this one. Okay, assign it button 1. This time I am assigning ephone 2, which might be this one or this one. Okay, line 1 with number which is associated to ephone DN2, which is second phone, so I'm assigning that one. Okay, and then type restart. Okay, yeah, that's the phone which got registered. Okay, I know there is lots of shouting at the background. These people's make too much sounds when they are in traffic. Okay, so forget about that. So we got registered if 2002 to our ephone 2. Okay, then I will exit from here, ephone 3. Okay, if I scroll down up, I will find the MAC address here. Okay, so I need to type MAC address. Okay, then associate this one with that. Okay, okay, button 1, 3. Okay, then restart. There you goes. There you see that all our 3 IP phones have been configured and been assigned numbers to their respective lines. Okay, now that we have defined the connection, let's make a call, see whether CMA router is able to communicate between these 3. Okay, so I'm on ephone 1, which is 2001. Press new, which gives me dial tone. Okay, and I'll type 2002, and there you see that 2002 is ringing and showing a call from 2001. Okay, we drop the call now. The same thing we'll do from 2002 to 2003. Okay, so 2003. that 2002 can call 2003. Okay, now that we have successfully done the connectivity, like phones can call each other, now let's move on to our next section, which I define as mystical buttons. It's mystical because of the functionality. Okay, so let's start with that. These are the list of mystical buttons which we will be learning or seeing in this nugget. Okay, so as you have already seen, colon, which is normal ring option, and which provides normal rings. Before we start discussing about the mystical buttons, I also want to focus on one more concept of single line and dual line. Okay, as we have configured, I think we have configured IP communicator 2003 as single line. Okay, so let's test it. Okay, when I'm calling 2003, the phone is ringing, the call says, so I will answer this call, and I have just muted it. Okay, so when I try to make a call from 2002 to 2003, it says busy tone. Can you see that? It's a busy tone, so we can't able to connect to 2003. Okay, and we'll drop the call for 2002 to 2003, and we will do the same for 2001 as well. We'll drop the call for this one as well. Okay, so let's do the other way. Okay, if I make a call from 2003 to 2001, phone rings, we accept the call. Okay, then I will make one more call from 2002 to 2001. Okay, there you see the phone still rings, which means that each line is provided with dual line, that so that we can hear the other ringtone if someone is calling on our same phone. So thus a good idea to have dual lines, but there are some situations where dual line is not acceptable. Okay, as we go in further, I will be letting you know where this concept is not applicable. Okay, so I'm dropping this call. Let me drop this one call as well. Okay, there you see is the concept of dual line. Okay, so as I was discussing with you about the following mystical buttons, this colon, we have just now seen how this colon works. Okay, so let me try with other option. Okay, so what I will do is ephone 1. Okay, no BUTT button 1:1. Okay, I'm removing that button. Okay, and restarting it. Button is removed. Okay, then we will add one. We'll add the button 1. This time we'll add with S, which is a silent ring. Okay, 1. Okay, it will just do the same thing as what the colon have done, but when you make a call. Okay, so I'm making a call from 2003 to 2001. Okay, you see that you won't be hearing a ringtone from here. okay, which is silent mode. Sometimes the manager is on the phone and someone is calling, or is in the meeting and someone is at the receptionist, and receptionist is calling the manager stating that someone is there, so it won't ring, it just have a silent ringtone. Okay, so that's the mystical button of S. Okay, so what is our next mystical button, which is B, which is a call waiting beep but no ring. Okay, before we look into this separator B, I will move forward for F, okay, which is a feature ring. Okay, I'm calling from 2003 to 2002. Did you see? This is the normal ringtone, which is normally a ringtone. Okay, so what I will do is I go into the CME router, ephone 2. Okay, say no button command 1:2. Okay, I'm removing that, restarted it. Okay, so no number associated to it. Okay, and again I will type button 1:2, not is 2, F is 2. Okay, and restart it. Okay, so the IP phone will restart it. Okay, okay, that's done. So let's make a call. Okay, let's make a call from 2001. Okay, 2002. There you see, so there is a difference between the basic ringtone and a feature ringtone. Basically, you can define this ringtone to a manager, like if the receptionist is calling to the manager, so there is a different ringtone where manager can say, oh, this is a call from receptionist. Okay, so this concept is somewhat handy when you are designing a voice network in a small organizations. Okay, now we will move on to our next. Okay, so now we move on to our next mystical button, which is B, which I says which is B. Okay, call waiting beep with no ringtone. Okay, so let's call I have to make ephone 1 button no button 1 S1. Okay, restart. Okay, and I have to make button 1B1. Okay, restart. Okay, so there you started. Okay, so I will make a call to 2002. Okay, there you see the ringtone. Okay, I will answer the call. Okay, then I will make a call from 2001 to 2002. So there you see a sound which is ringing, which is a call waiting beep. Okay, so in order to avoid that sort of situations, like someone is on the call, I don't want to hear the beep sound, so this mystical button really helps. Okay, so I will call from 2000. Sorry, 2001. Phone is ringing. Okay, but won't see the sound. Okay, connection is there. I will call from 2002. There you don't hear any beep sound, call waiting beep sound. Okay, so this is the feature of B mystical button. Okay, so that's how we configure use of B. Okay, so now that we have seen our 1, 2, 3, 4 mystical buttons, we'll now move on to our next mystical button, which is called as analyze buttons. Okay, let me do some configuration. Like if I say no button 1 B1 restart, okay, then ephone 2 is I think silent mode, feature mode, sorry. So no button 1 F2, okay, restart, then button 1 is to 2, okay, ephone 1 button 1 is to 1. So I'm just making a normal configuration wherein I will show you the concept of next two mystical buttons. Okay, now that you can see is that 2001, 2002 and 2003 have their respective IP phones assigned. Okay, the use of M mystical button is monitoring someone's line, like whether they are busy or they are away from the office or they are talking to someone, so these sort of things. Okay, so let me, so as you can see is there is a normal configuration. Okay, now what I will do is consider this 2001 as a receptionist phone, 2002 is a manager for sales, and 2003 is the manager for commercials. Okay, so I will define those two numbers on my receptionist phone stating ephone 1, okay, button 1 no, 2 is to 2 and button 3 is to 3. You can define by typing 2 is to 2 here, so it's up to you. Okay, and then I restart the phone. Okay, so there you see that you have three different numbers on same IP phone, IP communicator. If 2002 call 2003, there you see a red option stating that 2002 is calling 2003. Okay, this is normal. Okay, but if we assign no button 2 is to 2, no button 3 is to 3. Okay, but if we assign, I'm going to restart this. Okay, and if I assign 2 with M2, okay, comma 3 M3, 3 M3, 3 M3. Okay, yes, and then I restart these phones. Okay, same thing happens. You get all the three numbers on receptionist phone. Okay, and now if I call 2003, okay, and 2003 picks up the phone. can see is that by sitting on the reception desk, you can see is that there is a conversation between 2002 and 2003, which shows a red light stating that they both are connected, they both are busy. Or you can say that 2002 have got one call and 2003 has called different calls, but they are engaged. Okay, so if a third person calls 2002, which needs to be connected via receptionist, receptionist says on her dashboard and states that, excuse me sir, 2002 is busy on another call, do you have any message so that I can take it and pass it to him? So from here you can see that receptionist is watching the lines of two different managers. Okay, this is watch mode. Okay, we drop the call. Okay, so let's do let's say we have got one more ephone exit. Okay, I will define one more ephone DN call 4. Okay, with dual line. Okay, and number I will give it as 3002. Okay, and I will define one more number, which is 3005, which is ephone 5 with the 4002 number. Okay, then I will exit from here. I will go on ephone 2. Okay, give the number 2:4 and 3:5. Okay, and I will restart it. Okay, so sales manager have got two more lines, which is 3002 and 4002. Okay, let me go into ephone exit ephone 1. Okay, let me find this one as well, like I'll go 2 3, yeah, okay, 4 or monitor which is 4. Okay, and 5 monitor 5. Okay, so I've given those numbers to the receptionist as well. Okay, so one more thing I have to make is I need to make this ephone, create one more ephone and DN 6, but with dual line connection, and give it number 3003. Okay, 3003. Okay, and exit. Goes on ephone 3, a button 2:6. Okay, restart it, goes to ephone 1. Okay, assign that number to receptionist as well. So button 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, so it is 6 monitoring 6. Is it 6? Yes. Restart. Okay, so there you see all the numbers are on receptionist phones, and we have defined receptionist lines with mystical button M. Okay, so let's make a call. Okay, if 2003. Okay, so answer is a call between both 2002 and 2003 are busy. Okay, let's make another call. Okay, from 2002. I'll hold this one. Call is to 2003. So there you ring the phone. Okay, so here you can see that 2002 is busy, 3003 is busy. Okay, so watch mode only monitor one line per IP phone. Monitor mode only monitors one line at a time, but if you define W mystical button, it will be watching whole phone rather than one single line. Okay, so I will give you a demonstration here for that one as well. So I'm dropping these calls. Okay, calls are dropped, everything is dropped. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go on to ephone. I'll go on to ephone 1. Okay, let's clear up this one. Okay, so no button 3 is there. Okay, 4. Okay, we started from 1 2 3 4. Oh, yeah, okay, 4 is to 4, 5 is to 5, and restart. Okay, so there you see those buttons are cleared off. Then I will go on to same thing. Sorry, it should be M, isn't it? Monitor mode. So what's M? Restart. So it's cleared up. Okay, that's it, done. So now I will make same thing but with mystical button W. Okay, and I will restart it. It's 1 2 3 4. Where is 4? No button. 6 and 6. Restart. Okay, everything is deleted. So ephone 1, button 4, watches 4, 5 watches 5, and 6 watches 6. Invalid parameter. Oh, something is wrong. Button 4 is to 4. Yes, it can read. Button 4 is to 4, and 4 watches 4. Sorry, I need to check this one. It should be W. This should be fine. W5. Oh, there is a problem here. Okay, no way. So this is how it should be working. Okay, so we have seen till now, we have seen 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 mystical buttons. Okay, in my next video I will be going through these two, which requires a big time. As if I can say is that time is not sufficient. I will see you in my next video with more to remaining mystical buttons, and I will also discuss the concept of preference hunt stop channel in my next video. If you have any queries or if you like this video, please don't forget to rate. Okay, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye.